What's up, boys? It's me, Wolfie, back at it again with a new video. Today we're gonna talk about motorcycle maintenance. So I'm just gonna go through the basic maintenance, like just the things that you need to get started and things you must know so you can have your motorcycle fresh. So let's just hop on, go for a little ride, and talk about it. All right. Alright, so first thing, you probably already know it. It's the motorcycle oil, the engine oil, and the oil filter. It's pretty simple to do. You just have to drain the oil from the drain plug, and it's pretty simple to check. Every motorcycle has different way to check it. So for me, for this bike, I can check it through the there's a side window that I can see the level and the level of the oil and how good it is, like based on the color. Anyways, and it's a pretty simple job to do. You can just drain the oil and then put new oil. I do that every 3,000 to 4,000 miles, and it costs me between $80 to $100. All right, let's move on to the next thing, which is spark plugs. Spark plugs, actually, you don't need to check them that often because I usually just replace them every 16,000 miles, so it's not a big deal, but it is something to keep in mind and maintain. And they're not that expensive. They're between $50 to $70 to do on my bike. So everything I'm gonna say in terms of service intervals and cost, it's based on this bike. So you should check yours on your owner manual and see your service intervals on each one. For me, as I said, it's between $70 to $80. I mean, sorry, between $50 to $70 for these spark plugs, which is not that expensive. Yeah, and you don't really need to check them that often. I just replace them every 16K, which I haven't done on this bike, but I think I'm gonna do anyway, just so I can know when was the last time they were replaced. Let's put some gas. We just put some fuel in it. Alright, what are you doing? And it started raining. That's fine. Alright, so for the third thing, by the way, I'm not listing them in any specific order. I'm just like listing them. So for the third one, it's gonna be the chain. So when I say chain, I mean everything related to the chain, which is these sprockets and chain. So I do check those every month. I check the chain if it's clean and lubed, and if the sprockets are worn out or not. So I do that every month. And I do check the chain slack or chain tension. I check that every month. You should do that regularly. You can see how much your chain tension should be based on your owner's manual. Or the chain guard, you can check that on the chain guard and see how much chain tension should be there. Anyways, I clean my chain with WD-40. You can use, I've seen people use specific chain cleaner or brake cleaner. You can also use that, but personally I use WD-40 for cleaning my chain. Anyways, I think I need to stop because it's raining too much. Alright, moving on to the next thing. I actually forgot what it is, so I'll just take a UE. Oh yeah, that's good. Can you just stop? That's too much. It's raining too much. Just gonna park right there and talk about it. This spot somehow is dry, so I'm just gonna park here. Alright, next thing, which is gonna be the air filter. This depends on the bike. Different bikes have different locations for the air filter. It could be hard, it could be easy to replace, but mine is under the tank, so it's kind of a pain in the ass to remove it. So in my owner's manual, it says between 8 to 12,000 I should replace it. 8 to 12,000 miles. So I actually bought the Sprint air filter, which I don't actually need to oil and clean every time. I just need to clean it by air pressure, and that's it. So I'll put that in and see how good it is. Yeah, as I told you, for the chain, you can, I don't know if you can see mine, but you know, it has a bit of slack, so I need to adjust that. And I also check tires pretty regularly, but I do check them like every month to see if I need to replace them or not. So as you can see, mine is pretty dry, so I think I do need to replace it. And the back is also the same thing, is like it's dry, but it still has some tread, but I think it's less than I think it has less than half in it to go. These can be expensive, can be cheap depending on which tires you put, and also the miles, how many miles you can go through them. If you're running slicks, that can be 1,000 miles, or if you're running like sport touring tires, that can go up to I think 5, 6, 7,000 miles. So that may vary depending on your choice. I'll do another video about tires if you'd like to. Next thing, which is this, the brake system. What I mean by that is the brake fluid and also the brake pads. You should check your brake pads pretty regularly, but I think you can feel when you ride it, when you try to brake, you can feel how good it is depending on your previous rides. So I'll just say you need to bleed your brakes. That's because you got some air into the whole brake system, which makes it squishy. But if it's got fluid and everything, then you don't really need to. But you can check the pads from here, and you can actually check the brake fluid from here. You should place your bike upright and see how much it got. So mine is in the middle, which is good, but you should also look out for the color, because if it turns kind of brownish, it means it's time for a new fluid. That's like I check every month, as I told you, but you can actually feel it before you need to replace it or not. And that can be expensive, can be cheap depending on your choice. For the pads, front and rear, and the fluid, it can be $150 to $170 for me. Also for the tires, I forgot to mention, it can go for both tires, it can go for $250 both, or up to $550 both. It just depends on your choice at the end. Next thing, which is battery. My battery is under the seat. Mine actually was pretty good, because I kept it now running for 2 weeks, and like every time I go crank it up, it just goes. I've never had a dead battery on this bike yet, but you do need to replace it every 2 to 3 seasons, depending on how much you keep it sitting. If you plan on keeping the bike in the garage, I actually recommend to you having a battery tender hooked up to it, so it doesn't lose power, and then you gotta buy a new battery. So a new battery costs, depending if it's lethal or normal, it varies, but let's just say 60 to $20, depending on the brand and the type of the battery. But a battery tender can be much cheaper and can save you the hassle of you actually pulling the battery and changing it and all. But yeah, I guess I covered everything that I wanted to mention about maintenance. So I actually wanted to ride more while I talk about it, but as you can see, it's like too much rain. I gotta focus on the road and then also remember things. Hopefully in the next one it won't be raining. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I know it was a quick one, but I hope it was helpful for you. So if you have any more questions, I'd be happy to answer y'all. Just leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and subscribe, because we're already at 20 subscribers, which is like I'm so thankful for. But I want to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the month. Let's see if we can make that. Yeah, have a good one. Peace. Sounds so good. Alright, bye.